It won't let you install Microsoft Office until you install your Mac updates. You may not get that message, but you may. If you do get the message, then here is a link that shows you how to do it. And if you've never updated your software, then it's time to go in and run updates. So if you have a Mac, here's your page that shows you how to do it. If it doesn't work and you still can't download Office, then you won't be the only one. Send me an email and we'll see what we can do, okay? So that's the only thing I posted there. Let's go look at coursework. All right, so I have stuff shrunk down. See, I can do this kind of thing. You guys can't shrink it all down, but I can. Now, the syllabus assignment, obviously there's one more person who needs to turn it in, but it's about to go down, so you won't have to look at that after today either. Week 1 and 2, if you're missing any of the assignments, they are still in week 1 and 2. Go back and do those. Do you know you can click up here? Coursework. Now we are in weeks 3 through 7. All right, so I've done something different this time. Usually I do the word module 1. A module is a chapter. So usually we do the word 1 week, then we do word 2, and then word 3, and so on. We do 1 a week. We are having a different kind of semester, and I didn't want to plan that tightly in case something were to happen, all right? So we're going to complete all 4 word modules, all 4 word chapters, and the word module exam in weeks 3 through 7. The word module exam is going to be at the end of that last week. So that's what we're doing for the next few weeks. And I'm moving my hands. I don't know if you can see me or not. I'm moving my hands like you can see me. The materials you need a textbook. We're going to talk about that in a second. So if you're thinking, I don't have a book yet, just give me a second. You're going to need a computer with Microsoft Office installed. If you have to use a Chromebook, if you have to use an HP Stream, then you need to send me an email today and we're going to make do. You can't complete all the assignments completely, but ultimately if that's all you have, then you're going to be okay. But preferably you need to have a computer where you can install Microsoft Office. Right? And internet access. Now, that does not mean internet access 24/7. You're going to need internet access to log into Blackboard and find the assignments, or you can do it on your phone. But if you need to download a file, then you're going to need to have internet access to go download that file. You're going to need internet access when you go back and submit those files, but to actually complete the assignments out of the textbook, you don't have to have internet access. So if your apartment, if you don't have internet in your apartment, you can just drive to the Southeastern parking lot or the McDonald's parking lot. The little dog's licking my arm. She wants to sit in my lap. You can't get up here, Bella, get in. But you can just drive to some place where you can get free Wi-Fi and check and download and then go back and complete your assignments there. So you don't have to have internet access all the time. So that's the outside of it. August 31st, which was yesterday, through Bella, through October 4th is when we're going to be working on all these. Let me go back for a second. I'll show you something. So right here, you see the little A's? I'm going to click on one of those. This is alternative formats. Now this is not something I do. This is something that Blackboard does by itself. It's for people who can't use a mouse like I do, or who have to use just a keyboard. So this is accessibility stuff, and it's an automatic thing. Now, if you click on this and it looks weird, it's because it's not the real format. You need to click right here. So don't click this to see stuff unless you need to. You always click this over here. Okay, so I'm going to check my message. What you're seeing me do is checking my Facebook Messenger, because my daughter, like I said, my youngest daughter, she's 25. This is her first child. So she has she's back in the delivery room, and she's telling me that they just put her IV in and it pinches. So every so often I'm going to divert myself and check those messages. I'm sorry. That's just how it's going to be today. Okay. I don't know what I just said. Let me type it again. Okay, there we go. Now we're back here. So let's look. Now, if you notice in weeks 3 through 7, I don't have any assignments posted. I don't have any assignments posted because honestly, there are days that I am drowning. We would think that it would be easier because we're doing it through Zoom. Actually, my side of it is harder, and there are days I'm overwhelmed. I had a freak out last Thursday and was just sick most of the day. So we are going to have to go a little bit slower. Now, if you're gung-ho and are excited to go and want some assignments right now, then you send me an email and I'll send you some assignments and you can get started. But otherwise, we won't start our actual chapters until we come back Thursday. And we're going to go a little slow so that nobody gets behind. There are some of us in this class who aren't really comfortable using a computer, and that's okay. We're going to go slow so that you learn as we go. We do things a little bit differently in this class than we do in the other computers and society classes. So I'm overwhelmed, which means we're going to go a little bit slower. That also means I'm behind, but that's okay. When I get behind, that means I remove things. You don't have a shorter period of time to work on assignments. I take things off or I extend assignment dates. So if you're worried because I don't have any assignments posted yet, don't be worried. It's okay. All right, so let's go back up here. Let's talk about the textbook. Do you have a textbook yet? All right, so I told you that you need to get your chemistry textbooks. You need to get your biology. You need to get your physical science, your college algebra, your English. Basically, you need to get every other textbook before you get this one. Those classes are supremely important. Now, this one is too, but this one, I look at this as a helper class. This class teaches you skills that will help you in your other classes. If you're a senior, well, it's kind of late, but it's all right. But I wanted you to get this textbook later. Hang on, I've got to reply to a message. All right, there we go. Talking about IVs this morning. Now, if you don't have a textbook, it's okay. If you have a physical textbook, that is awesome. Having an actual physical textbook that you can hold in your hands is easier because you can read in that book while you're working on your computer. If you have a digital book, I'm texting this morning, okay? There we go. If you have a digital textbook, that will work just fine. It's a little more difficult, especially in this class, because in our textbook, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reading instructions and then go doing it on our computer. So, somebody tell me you're still alive and can still hear me. Okay, I need somebody to be brave and say, yes, I'm still alive.
Yes, I'm still alive.
I'm alive, I think.
I'm alive.
I think so.
Okay, because what I see, you're seeing what I see. So I see nothing but my computer. And I'm guessing you're all still out there, but, you know, okay, so here we go. So a digital textbook works just fine. It's just a little bit harder. So a physical textbook is the ideal. So if you don't have a textbook yet, I have the word chapters scanned. I found this online. I understand copyright laws. But I also understand that college students sometimes have money for meal plans or they have money for textbooks. And honestly, this is the PDF of the entire book. So if you don't have a book yet, you can use these. It's a little bit harder, but you can still make it just fine, all right? So let's look. Word modules 1, 2, 3, and 4. I've got to tell her. there we go. Word modules 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you see something called chapter scans.zip. We're going to talk about that in a minute. So let's pretend like you know nothing about a PDF file. When I say that, that means I know that there is somebody out there who doesn't and who's not willing to raise their hand and say that I don't. So we're going to pretend like nobody knows anything about a PDF file, and we're going to look at it. So if you're on your computer, you can do this too. So I'm going to click on the first one. I'm not going to click on the left thing. I got this offline, and I didn't make it, so I can't control what's in it. The little red thing means that there are pictures that don't have the alternative text and things like that. I can't do anything about that. This right thing over here is also for people who use the keyboard and use accessibility formats. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this right here in the middle. So I'm going to click it, and it opens a new tab. And it gives me this, and I'm just going to cancel it. Now, let's look right here. This is a PDF. If I move my mouse around, it does stuff. I can zoom out so that I can see the whole page, or I can zoom in. But if I look at the top, oh my God, there are 66 pages in this Word Module 1. So take a breath. It's okay. Don't be freaking out. It is not 66 pages of reading. There are pictures, there are steps you do. It's not that bad. Okay, so now that we're past the freak out, let's look. 66 pages, I'm on page 1. So if I scroll, I see absolutely nothing. Those little dog's about to drive me nuts. But I see nothing. There's just one page, okay? So clicking it didn't work. Let's go back and let's save it to our computer and see if it works. Now, there are lots of ways to save it. This is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to right-click it. I'm going to right-click it. And I'm going to save link as. All right, so I'm going to put it in my downloads folder. This is your computer you're on, so you put it wherever you need it to be. And since you watched that file management video, you know how to do this stuff. So I'm going to put it in downloads. Obviously, it's already there. There's its file name. It is a PDF document. There we go. And I'm going to save it. You see it at the bottom left. Well, I'm not going to click on that. I want to go into my file system. Got to drag it over. Here we go. Here's my file system. I put it in downloads. So let me show you something. Let me show you why I put stuff in downloads in mine. If I'm using it just right now, I need to be able to find it right now. So I put things in downloads because I have multiple things. See, I have my phone plugged up. I have my main hard drive. It's an SSD. That's a little system thing. It doesn't matter. But then I have two interior 1 terabyte. Actually, these are 2 terabytes, aren't they? 2 terabyte hard drives inside my computer. So my computer has 3 different hard drives inside it. So I have a lot of places I could put things. So if I'm not careful, I'm going to go in and I'm going to lose stuff and have to dig for it. So see all this kind of stuff? So what I do is I put everything in my downloads folder if I'm going to use it right now. So that's why it's here. All right, so you're going to see me get rid of some things. I'm just going to delete all this stuff, and I'm going to go back and do it again because that's confusing to me. We can't confuse me because then life is all hellish. So right-click it, save link as. I'm going to put it in downloads, and I know it already said it. Caution is good. There it is at the bottom. File Explorer, Windows Explorer, downloads. Okay. It's still thinking. See, it's still downloading. See the blue circle? Now it should be done. There we go. So if it doesn't look like this, number 1, either it's still downloading, or number 2, your computer doesn't know what it is. I'm going to open it, and then we're going to go back and talk about it. So if I open it here, it goes to screen number 3, and then I see this. Now across the top, I have fit to width or fit it all. Now, there we go. Let's look at the chapter. Page 1 of 66. Hey, it worked. It's all here. This is what the chapter looks like. Do not worry about that right now. We're going to talk about that Thursday. Okay? Let's get off that. So it worked. It worked. Now, some computers it does not work on. If we were in our class on campus, it would not work. If we opened it, we would still just get the one page, or it wouldn't open at all. So let me show you how to make your computer open it. Sometimes your computer doesn't know what kind of file it is, or it may not have the Adobe software to actually open it. Let's go back and look. Okay. If you don't have Adobe on your computer somewhere, or if you don't know if you do, right here back in our class, we're in this week 3 through 7, right here is a link. You can click it and you can download the Adobe Reader. Let's think a minute. So right here, I would just uncheck this and this and this, because if we read them, I don't want the extension, I don't want McAfee Security Scan, and I don't want this. I just want the reader right there. So if you don't know if you have it, you can go in and download it again. That's how you do it. So you've got it on your computer. We're all good to go. Now, let's make your computer open a PDF file. So right-click directly on it, and I get different options. So if I go down to Open With, see where I'm at? Not Open. Open With, I have Adobe Acrobat. Yours is probably going to say Adobe Reader or Adobe something DC, but you need an Adobe something in that list. And then you just click it. And it may tell you things like, are you sure? Do you want to make this default or whatever? But after you do that, then you should be able to open it. Now, if you have a physical textbook, you may be thinking that this doesn't matter at all to you. It does. You are going to have PDF files in so many classes. I've got to go back over here and check this. All right. Going back over here. Give me just a second. There we go. You're going to have these in lots of other classes. It's not just this class. So if you already know this stuff, this is good. If you have a physical textbook, that's really nice. You're going to need to download PDF files in other classes. So that's how you make your computer open it. That's how you save it. That's how you make your computer open it. And then from then on, you won't ever have to do that again. Now, let's talk about zip files. You're going to be really polite, and you're going to pretend like you know nothing about compressed or zipped files. You're going to let me talk about it this morning. All right, so I don't know if the commercials are still out there, but I know they used to be. There was something called a space saver bag, and the commercial would take a big stack of pillows or comforters, and they would say, oh, look, these are too big to store. So they would put them in this big zippy bag, and they would suck all the air out of it with a vacuum cleaner that compressed it. What that did was that took out all the spaces in those products, took out all the air, took out all the extra space. What it did is it made those much, much smaller. So they were easier to store, they were easier to transport, they were easier to do everything with, right? So if you take the big zippy bag and you put the pillows in it and you zip them down to where they're just little bitty flat things, you can slide them under your bed and different stuff. Now, you can't use them until you open the bag. You can't use those pillows until you have unzipped the bag and exploded them to full size. So you have files that are compressed. Every file has extra space in it. Doesn't matter if it is a Word document or a PDF, especially a picture, a PowerPoint file, movies, videos, everything has extra space. So you can compress everything down. But just like those pillows in those bags, you really can't use them until you unzip them and explode them back out. Let me see here. I'm still reading text messages. So we need to explode it. So when you have a zip file, first thing you do is you download it and then you unzip it. So let's download it. Right here, I'm not going to click it. I'm going to right click it because I want to save it. So right click it and I want to save the link as. And again, I'm going to put it in that downloads folder because I'm going to use it just now. And if I'm going to save it for later use, then I'll move it someplace else later. But this is just the easiest way for me to find it. Now it's at the bottom. Let's look at the bottom. Bottom left. You see I downloaded this one and then this one, and now I'm working on this one. And it has a blue circle going around. The blue circle going around means it's downloading. And I can't do anything until it downloads. Now, if your internet is slower, it may take a while for this to download, and that is okay. So while we're waiting, I'm going to go on a sidetrack, little offshoot like you know I do. So before the pandemic hit, I was already a lazy person. I didn't go to Walmart. I ordered their pickup, and I went there and picked it up because, you know, laziness. It's really awesome. Just go pick it up, come home, we're good to go. So I haven't been to Walmart in, okay, I don't know how long it's been since I've been to this Walmart. It's been a very long time. Last night, my husband and I got our masks on, and we went to Walmart, and I was really surprised. There weren't very many people there at all. It was awesome. It was awesome. And we did our thing, and I'm a computer nerd, and I'm just basically a nerd. I teach computer science students, so that means by default, I'm already a nerd. I like to go down the toys section. And we were going through the toy section, and I did the, oh my God, scared him. Walmart has D&D toys. They had 2 boxes. Right, so that means Dungeons and Dragons. Now, I'm from the 80s when we played it in like the basements, because back then everybody thought it was satanic. But now they know that D&D actually spurs creativity, and it's part of like the higher learning centers, which is, or I can't think of the word, they want you to teach it because it teaches creativity, which is just the coolest thing ever. But Walmart has D&D toys, and they're metal, and I bought all they had. I bought one of each, and there is this beautiful red dragon. He is the coolest thing. I'll take a picture and show you later. He is the coolest thing. And there is a Drist, a little figurine of Drist. If you don't know who Drist is, D-R-I-Z-Z-T, you need to read those books. They're just hella amazing. But he's cool. And then there's a Dragonborn figurine. Anytime I play D&D, I'm so sorry. Anytime I play D&D, I always have to be a Dragonborn. And there's all kinds of cool figures. There's a dwarf cleric, and there's an illithid. Really cool stuff. So if you're in Walmart and you're a D&D fan, go down the toy section because you'll be really happy. And they weren't very expensive. I was super pleased with how much they were. I told my husband that we were really lucky that they weren't expensive because I would have had to have them anyway. So, okay, that's enough about my nerdiness. Let's look. It's finished. So I've right-clicked, and I've downloaded the chapter scans. I'm not going to click it there. I'm not going to click it there. I'm going to go back to where I put it. There it is. There it is. So let's click it and open it. Okay, so I'm inside the zip file. I'm inside the zip file. You can see at the top, it tells me that I can do stuff to it. I'm not going to look up there. Everybody's computer is different. That's why I'm not using these tools up here, okay? I'm going to do everything down here in the middle. Bella, go away. She's whining at me again. So if I click this, it thinks, and it will actually open. Now, can you use files from inside a zip file like this? Theoretically, yes. Theoretically, yes. Unless it contains a picture, unless it is a picture, unless it is a PowerPoint or something like that. So you can open one of these and use them, but to really use it and to use it fully, you always need to unzip it. Just like that zipped bag of the pillows, you have to unzip the pillows before you can really use them. So let's actually go in and unzip that file. So if I go back, to downloads. Here we go. I can see it. So I clicked it a while ago to open it, but you see there's a little zipper on it. So let me make it a little bit bigger so we can see it better. What I'm doing is I have, of course this is a desktop, but on my keyboard I'm holding down my control key and I'm scrolling with my mouse. If I scroll up, it makes my icons bigger, and if I scroll down, it makes them smaller. So I scrolled up. So let's right click it. Let's right click it. And then let's look for just a minute. Now, Windows computers, you Mac users, I'm so sorry. This doesn't pertain to you. You're kind of on your own on this one. Windows users, Windows used to come with a compression software. They don't always. So if you don't see an extract all, that means yours doesn't have a compression software on it, and you're going to have to get something else. Now, what Southeastern uses is called 7-Zip, and you can see it right there. See 7-Zip? So 7zip.com, I think is the website. It takes you about, I don't know, 15 seconds to get it downloaded and installed, unless your internet's really slow. But it's a real small program, really small program. It's safe. You're not going to get a virus with it. You're not going to get malware or anything like that. So if you don't have an extract all, you may have to go download 7-Zip. If you need help, you just give me a holler. But I'm just going to click the extract all button. And it gives me this. It says, hey, where do you want me to put it? And if I look, it's in downloads and it's going to be in a folder called chapter scans. I'm just going to leave it right there. And it's going to think a minute. There we go. And now I have two folders. I have one that is zipped and I have one that is unzipped. Now let's look at the difference of size. I've said that you have to sometimes zip things to make them smaller. You zip things to email them. You zip things sometimes to submit them on Blackboard. My programming students, you see something called latte selection down here. That's actually a coded program. It's big enough that they can't submit it through Blackboard. They have to zip it. So my programming students have to zip every assignment they ever do to send to me. There will be classes you have to do this for too. So you're not wasting your time by listening to me rattle on this morning. So let's look. If I right click on this one, and I know I could see it, but if I right click and go to properties, it tells me that the size is 84 megabytes. That's pretty little, 84. Now let's look at it unzipped. Right click and properties. Okay, so unzipped is 99. So we went from 84 to 99, which is not much because they're still, megabytes are pretty small. But if this had been a PowerPoint or something like this down here that are actually really massive, you'd see a large difference in your compressed and uncompressed size. So it does work. And now let's look inside our chapter scans. There they are. It looks exactly the same, except they're wide open. If these had been pictures, you could access the pictures, you could use them, you could do different things. So you're always going to want to unzip your zip files. All right, so let's go back. So we talked about the textbook. If you can't get Microsoft Office installed on your computer, send me an email. We'll get it figured out. If you don't have the textbook but are getting one, there's the first chapters. There's the 4 word chapters. If you don't have a textbook and just can't get one, then there is the whole textbook. For Thursday, I want you to read through the Word Chapter 1. Yes, the Word Chapter 1 chapter, the Word 1 module, whatever. I want you to read the first chapter of Word, right there, that one. Now, I know it's 66 pages. and it's long, but you don't regret reading a chapter. You may regret not reading it. My daughter, my oldest daughter, not the one having the baby today, but my oldest daughter has a CS degree, which means it's a combination of a coding programming degree and a heavy-duty technology business degree. It's a really, really good degree. when she first started college, what she would say is, I don't need to buy the book because I can pass the class without reading the chapters. Okay? Hurt my feelings. She was brave enough to say that to my face too. So she said, I can pass the class without reading the chapters. Yes, you can. The further she went, the more she said, I need to read the chapters because when I go to my actual job, I'm going to need the information in these chapters. Now, these chapters are long.